All right, so let me tell you something. As far as the jellies go, how do you feel about a peanut butter sandwich?
It can have jelly on it. Only one kind, though.
What's the one kind of acceptable jelly for peanut butter and jelly?
Concord grape jelly.
Yes.
What is Concord grape jelly, Alex?
So my friend Brandy went out and got donuts from her Amish market, a competing Amish market to my Amish market, where I find only joy and full-size donuts. And she dropped off with my kids while we were out an entire dozen of these stuffed mini donuts. Now,
baby donuts?
Like they're the fucking cutest things I've ever seen.
Oh, it's like a bakery version of a veal.
Oh, that makes me really sad.
It's flour. You're okay.
Well, that makes me happy again. But that veal.
You eat an egg. You don't get sad about the egg. That's even more disastrous. All right, let's stick to the baby donuts.
So these donuts came in. They're all stuffed with something, and some of them were jelly donuts. So my first response to Stuart was, "Look what Brandy got you. She got you jelly donuts." And he looked over at the salted caramel one stuffed with God knows what and said, "Oh." I said, No. I said, "She got you the jelly donuts." Clearly a donut I would not eat because it is not grape jelly.
What? What are you putting grape jelly in a donut for?
I don't appreciate anything jelly, really, unless it's a Hamantaschen. You know, the triangle dewy cookies with the of jelly right in the middle.
Oh, those are so good, but they don't have fucking grape.
No, they have
Hamantaschen.
They have lots of flavors, but I only eat the apricot.
Well, apricot's a delight. It's one of man's greatest accomplishments. I love apricot Hamantaschen. They're delicious, especially when I can remember the name, because I can never remember the name. And I don't care. I eat them too quickly, so no one even saw what it was going into my mouth. Apricot, delicious, delightful.
What was the apricot jellied concoction you made for me when we were in Atlanta?
Hard to say. When we were at the hotel?
Yes.
Oh, well, that wasn't a concoction.
Oh, my God.
We were out to eat. I was in a restaurant. I'd hardly call it making. I took a piece of whole, I combined elements of the buffet at the Four Seasons. I don't remember if it was Four Seasons or the Ritz, but it was someplace nice. And they had multiple tables at the buffet. And I pulled from areas that didn't belong together and put them into one morsel bite. Yeah. So it was a piece of the whole grain sliced from the loaf. Unbelievable, seedy, weedy, delightful bread that was gently toasted, so it was just crisp enough, then still soft and warm and gooey on the inside of bread. I smothered that with some of the salted butter from over on the pancake station, and then on top of I didn't use salt. I put salted butter, and then I put cream cheese from the bagel and lox station on top of that, and then I took the apricot jam from some other place and smeared that on top. And I think I put maybe a pistachio on the top of it too. I don't remember. But anyway, the whole thing, or maybe it was a slice of cucumber. It was delightful, whatever it was, because you crunch into it, but then it's sweet and salty, but still creamy. And there's
oh my God,
it
was amazing.
So
and
good.
It's something I never would have made myself. And you threw together something from every table.
Yes, it was a piece of buttered toast, but it was really good.
I hate you. All right, hold on.
Hey, listen, don't hate. Sometimes there's nothing better than a piece of buttered toast.
Hold on.
I'm not a hater.
Hold on.
What are we holding on for?
House hunting, all the bread updates, and how annoying are Zoom calls. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do. So cutting you out. You're spit drinking. Dear listener, are there other jellies that you appreciate? Jams? I don't want to know the difference. Other jellies that you appreciate?
There's a big difference.
And where do you want your jelly and jam? And what flavor belongs where? Because clearly there are places for each flavor, and they're really, to me, not interchangeable. Do you have opinions on jelly and jams? Do you have opinions on how amazing Amy's buttered toast sounded? Because
it's super amazing. Let me tell you. So Concord grape jam really only has one purpose, and that's betwixt and long sidings commingled with some peanut butter. That's it. It doesn't serve any other purpose. I don't even know why they made it. You can't, if not for that. There's only one purpose. It's not useful in any other way. If you stick that shit inside a donut, I'm going to fight you. It's not worth it. It's not good. However, pretty much every other jelly and jam, mostly, can go anywhere you want. I mean, think about it. There's fig jam. There's apricot jam. There's red pepper jelly. Oh, that's a delight. There's strawberry jam. There's raspberry jam. I have every single one of these in my house. I'm just actually visualizing the fridge and the pantry right now. And there's probably 6 more that I haven't mentioned. Oh, orange marmalade. That counts. Even
So are they all
Blueberry.
interchangeable to you?
They are all multi-use. To me, that's a very different thing. They're not necessarily interchangeable. Apricot jam is most frequently used as a glaze in our house. So you boil it down and you get it really, really thin and viscous and you strain it and then you use it as a glaze over a whole bunch of other stuff and you kind of don't even know what it is, but it's this delightful, delicious, it's kind of a base and a glaze for other things. I would never substitute anything else for that in that application. But I would eat a Hamantaschen with apricot, with raspberry, with probably fig, with probably don't know what that I hadn't thought of yet. Probably I'd eat a blueberry one. I wouldn't really like it, but I'd still eat it. If it was Concord grape, I'd say, who are you? Who would make a Concord grape anything other than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I don't know.
It's just so sad.
But
it's super sad.
My girlfriend who bakes Hamantaschen, she was a baker in her previous life. She makes all kinds. So she'll take a peanut butter cookie and she'll put like Nutella in the middle and make a chocolate peanut butter Hamantaschen. She'll make all kinds.
And now you're very, very, very happy. And you need to keep her in your life.
Yeah, I don't see her
I would
enough.
say
I don't
you
see her at all.
You have to elevate her. You have to elevate her. Well, you don't have to see her, but you have to elevate her in your life. You should send her a text today. And then at the end of that text stream, when you're saying, gosh, I never get to see you. And also, have you made any of those peanut butter?
But what if she made that peanut butter cookie and put a splash of Concord grape right in the middle of that Hamantaschen?
I would try it and I would say good for you. And I would be very specifically supportive and positive. I would find the good. The truth is, I really don't like peanut butter and jelly anything other than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't ever order the peanut butter and jelly flavored dessert. I don't want chocolates that are flavored peanut butter and jelly. There's a lot of people who want to take peanut butter and jelly and put it as a flavor combo and other things. And I think they're super misguided. It's to me kind of like the people who want to make popcorn taste like bubble gum. Like there's certain things where it's like, no, you're just not getting it. Stop. Or raisins and ice cream. These people walk the earth and they must be purged.
Yeah, I told you, raisins hold no place in society. They're a mistake. And people are embracing that mistake. Would you do a grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I would try it if someone endorsed it and made it and it was their specialty, but I would never order it. Why would I want that?
I thought that as well, but I've also had one and it was kind of great. So
I'm sure that it's like if you decide at home you're going to make it on toast and it's super gooey and hot and creamy. And I mean, I get that it would work, but I think peanut butter and jelly is great and it's its beginning, middle, and end. It's its own thing. I don't need it to stretch out into other realms.
Crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
I love both, but on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it's got to be creamy.
Really?
Yeah, creamy.
I'm at war with my family as they are creamy people. And once I discovered crunchy peanut butter and how it's a fucking meal, like I like to chew and textures are important to me. So,
right. You're the only person I've ever met who likes crunchy peanut butter.
You serious?
I'm not making a joke. I'm 100% serious. I like it, but I never buy it because it's not worth the fight and I don't adore it that much. But yeah, I mean, I like it. No, you're the only person I've ever met.
Dear listener, do you like crunchy peanut butter?
No, no one likes it. It's always on the shelves, never sells out. No, nobody likes it.
So they make those single serving cups that I used to send of peanut butter that I used to send to school with my kid. And I finally found the crunchy ones, the crunchy cups.
Yeah, it's all this time they don't make them because nobody wants it.
She was offended by it. So I ate all of those. How dare you? I believe was her quote. How dare you send me with crunchy peanut butter?
How dare you?
Yeah, she was pissed. So while we're talking about food, I would like to ask you, hey, Amy.
Hey, what?
Hey, Amy, how's sourdough going?
Oh, God. Well, it's going great. It's going great, Melissa. I'm here to tell you.
Tell me.
It's great. I'm really proud and
I don't believe
secure and confident in my accomplishments. And I've begun documenting with photographic evidence so that I can share. And in the meantime, I think we should discuss your holla.
No, wait.
You made some holla.
I did. I absolutely did. But so have you made progress? Did you find a warm place to keep it? Did you?
It is bubbly. I don't want to say foamy, but it's got big, large, almost soap bubbly-esque bubbles in it. So it's definitely bubbling.
It's working.
And it's definitely growing, and it's definitely taking probably 3 times as long always. And I think the real reason for that is twofold. One, my husband is still waging war against our utility bill, and it's really ridiculous. We got Duke Energy, I told you, comes and they send this thing saying you are within, you are 70 billion% more efficient than other homes in your area. More efficient. It's usually great. It's usually highest marks. And then we got one where we were dinged. And and they don't care. They make more money when we spend more money. So, I mean, this is a meaningless
counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive for them.
He signed up for an app where he can monitor the thing outside his phone all day long. He signed up for like these crazy alerts if it goes over some number. He set the dial to 66 during the day. It's ridiculous. My
nose is running.
He's not fucking here. He's not fucking here when these temperatures are going the way they're going. So back to the sourdough and this emphasis on the sour. So back to the sourdough. It's taking a long time, probably because the ambient temperature in my house is 41 degrees. So it's very cold in here. It's just taking longer to do the same thing. So I have to have more patience. And I'm trying not to get too frustrated, but I'm standing by my sourdough plan. And I would love to give the world's double loaf biggest shout out and holla to you because I saw something on social media that frankly fucking floored me.
Shocked you, huh?
Clue us in, Shaka Khan. You got to tell me what happened.
So I have a 17-and-a-half-year-old son who's going to be leaving for college. And I do forced family fun, but I'm also inventing experiences for he and I to have together that he can remember, that we can do and be together without fighting, which you'd think baking. That's a very exact science. There's no way you didn't fight.
It's kind of a pivot. I'm not sure that I would have. That's sort of not the one I would have picked. I'm glad that it worked for you.
Yeah, quality time is what I was looking for. Also, quantity time is really what I was looking for because I have a recipe from an old camp an old camp kitchen mate. And I kind of changed it a little, and after you make something, you don't do something right. You do something right. You change it again for next time, but you tweak until it fits and you do it right. I mean, baking, different elevations change what you're making. Like, so anything can change it. Last week you discussed how the water you use changes the pizza and the bagel. So it's every element that you're using changes constantly. So you are definitely trying to tweak it as you go. But I showed him a very simple recipe, and we took out all the ingredients, and I got to use the KitchenAid mixer that my husband got me for Hanukkah this year.
Oh, my God.
I never opened it.
Triple.
Yeah, I never opened it because where am I going to put it? Like, where does it go? Where do you keep it? Something else to sit on a countertop? That is not what I'm looking for in my kitchen. I'm looking to clear the countertops. And this is just a monster that sits there and mocks you that you're not using it and collects dust. So the other issue is once you make baked goods, you're eating baked goods. And if you're avoiding eating baked goods, that mixer is, again, taunting you. So we made dough, and it said, all right, let this fucker go and sit for 2 to 3 hours. All right, I could do that. So we put it in a lightly overly oiled bowl, and gross, so gross. Yeah. And we let it sit, and it exploded. Like, it just got 2 to 3 times its size. And then I split it. And I said, do you know how to braid? Because challah is braided bread. So do you know how to braid? He's like, well, I know how to cross things. I'm like, perfect. Now I'm going to have a
That's
crucifix.
step
I'm making a challah and you're making a crucifix. That's super.
Turned into a kind of a different activity.
Very different. So I split this massive thing hours later and we pounded it down. And then I said, all right, so split that into 3 even parts any way you want. So which gave him the chance to not have me tell him what to do. And we were just talking and it was so nice.
I love that you think that's giving him control. I just have to jump in. That was the most explicit direction that could ever be given. Split this into 3 even parts. There's really no equivocation there, but do it any way you like.
There's no evenness either.
How's he going to deviate? They have to be 3 and they have to be even and they must be split. I love you. I'm just saying it's full appreciation. Holla.
So I split the big one in half. So I gave him his half to really do whatever he wants with. And I showed him what I was doing, or actually he watched. And I said, this says this woman weighed each of the 3 pieces. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, you can.
I'm not weighing shit.
You can just eyeball. Eyeball is fine. Yeah.
So I eyeballed it and I started to braid mine. I'm like, whatever, dude. If you want it fat in the middle, you got fat in the middle. I don't care what you do over there. He's like, I don't think this could be 18 inches. And I said, that's what she said. It was really
welcome to college.
It was fun. Like we had a good time. But he's again anti-carb these days. So when I braided mine,
bakery.
And basted it. By the way, I don't have any sort of basting brush. I have nothing of the sort. That tool does not exist here. So if you asked me if I whipped an egg and I then dipped a paper towel in the egg and rubbed it all over, then yes, that's what I did.
All right. Okay. Get it done.
And after
Make this happen. Good for you.
After he did his, right, he looked away since he wasn't eating it anyway. And I shook everything but the bagel seasoning on his all over his, which, oh my God, why don't we put that on everything but the bagel?
No.
It's so good. So yeah, I slipped those and then I had to let that sit for another 45 minutes for it to do something else.
Proof, yeah.
The science behind it really doesn't interest me. The science of eating it is what is wildly interesting. So I go to put it in the oven and I look over on the counter and by the way, my son cleaned. We're cleaning tables down because of course you're using the island. So you have to have it super clean before you start. Super clean afterwards because you had uncooked things on there. He's cleaning everything. And I got really excited that there's a future for this child. Remember when your oldest woke himself up for the first time with an alarm of him banging on his own door?
Yes.
This was kind of like my epiphany of, wait, you just went over to clean the kitchen table too because
it can happen.
We're cleaning, so you might as well finish the job. I got really excited. And then as I was about to put it in the oven, I look over on the counter, which is now spotless because boy did a good job. And there's a huge stick of butter there, just, softening is what Stuart said. He said, I'm softening the butter. I said, are you? Are you really? So he was getting ready for a man who doesn't eat carbs. You're making carbs in his house. You have to eat them. And I really wish.
There's some carbs in this house.
There's some carbs in this house. I really, really wish that I could go through all of this and not eat it. Because I'm really trying to be better. Not good, but better. But I get so much joy from carbs. I just have to shut the fuck up.
Well, what does better mean to you, curiously? Surely you're not looking to lose weight. So are you trying to do some sort of a health thing?
No, I just want to maintain.
Are you trying to lose a few ounces? Like what does better look like to you?
I want to maintain.
You're in maintenance mode.
Yeah.
In maintenance mode, carb day is meaningless. You don't even have to have temporary guilt about it. You have to have temporary guilt about the day after carb day, which is carb day part 2. As long as it's
right.
just one day.
Once you start it up.
And then everything in moderation, including moderation. So there are going to be days of your life when you're on vacation, there might be weeks of your life where you overdo something. And then when you get back into the habit of regulating, sometimes you're overdoing the under. You're doing way too little of eating something or way too much of exercising because you're trying to balance everything out over this long bell curve. So you're at a place where one day, one meal, don't even give it a thought. I'm not there right now. I'm in the everything, overeating, overindulging. It's great, but it's terrible. So I'm trying to maybe kind of baby step out of that. But for you, you don't get to be fit. You don't get to feel sad. Why are you feeling sad? Your sad days are gone. You've clipped in. There's no sadness left. Ask your therapist. They're there for you twice a day, as far as I'm understanding.
Ask your pellet therapist.
Are you still clipping in? Are you still spinning yourself to freedom?
I clip in every day.
Okay.
But I don't kill myself on that bike anymore. Yesterday I did 20 minutes and I was like, 10-minute low impact. I'll do that. 10-minute arms. I'll tone 10-minute arms. So by the end of it, I had done a few of them, but,
well, what does 10-minute arms on a bike mean? You're pedaling the bike, but then you're also doing something with your arms, or you're not even pedaling the bike. You're just listening to them while they walk you through arm exercises. So I'm just curious.
So this one is on the bike. Some of them are off the bike for 10-minute arms, but I chose one that
so they are just a system. You can do everything on the bike or off the bike.
Yeah, this one I chose on the bike, and she's like, I want you to fix your right leg forward. You know, she told you how to stabilize yourself and then go through it. And I was like, all right, I'll do it, but only because you look like that and I don't. So I'll listen to you.
Aww.
The same way if you were to come to me and say, where do I get the best cookie? I'm the one who knows. So she's going to be the expert on.
I mean, beach time is coming. Whether the COVID lets us go or not, the beach time is coming. So I'm super jealous and proud of you for doing this stuff and thinking ahead. I mean, you're doing it for right now, but I'm already looking ahead to the many, many months away of when sand might be in my future. I got to get some beach in my life.
Sand is going to be in your future in February, right?
No. I'm trying to talk to you about Margate. I was trying to just cut this part out. I was trying to do a seamless jump into, you could say, well, it's funny you mentioned beach. I was trying to get you to
I'm not
talk
cutting
about
this
your
part
Margate.
out. I'm playing it.
How's
and
that?
I will tell you that
You lazy. You're a lazy woman.
Well, there's that. But that's got nothing to do with the fact that I wanted the listeners to hear you say, I tried to give you a segue into, I went house hunting with my spouse yesterday, 2 days ago, Friday.
You physically went?
We went to the beach. To the beach, everybody. To the beach.
Well, now I'm really pissed off. You've made braided bread and eaten it and gone to the fucking beach.
I have.
I'm mad now and I don't like you.
You'll get over that.
damn
Everyone
it.
does. Do you know
I'm just used to hating Stuart. Now you're fucking with him.
Do you know I have
Jesus,
a sister-in-law?
God damn it, I'm sick of him. Every time he's got to drag you away from me. Thanks for nothing. You don't even like the beach.
I don't.
Why?
Do you know?
Don't indulge him.
I have a sister-in-law who rediscovers me each time she sees me. So I don't know if I should be offended by that or not, but after I see her or talk to her, every time she calls me or texts me to say, I had such a good time with you.
And I'm so surprised.
She's shocked every time. Oh my God, that was so much fun. Why don't we do that more? That was so great. I had such a great conversation. Okay.
Oh, that's
I think I'm offended by how shocked you are every time, but all right, I enjoyed it as well. So, thanks? Question mark? Yeah, we took a.
Is this the sister-in-law who is in Margate?
No.
Is that also part of the? Okay.
No, we took a drive down to the beach to look at like 12, 13, 14 properties, which is, I mean,
now wait a minute. I gotta get my steward on.
Privilege problems here.
I gotta slow you down. Because I want to make sure I get it all. So, in order to see these 17 properties,
Yeah.
which clearly had been pre-vetted, scheduled, organized, arranged through a third party, so that, and probably aligned, so that you could strategically move in the most efficient manner from one to the next to the next to the next on a schedule. This was all arranged in advance.
Yes.
And presented to you as, hey, Melissa, I was thinking, and then dot. Is that effectively how the shit went down?
That's exactly how it went down.
Yeah, I don't live anywhere in that universe. I don't even know what that is.
Why don't
that
we
frankly sounds so cheerful and delightful.
Why don't we
to
do a
me.
spontaneous trip down to the beach where someone has been calculating how to meet with these 4 houses.
The exact GPS.
Then the next one is with a builder at this time, but we'll have already seen 4 houses and these 4. Yeah, that's exactly how that worked. And we drove down there, and a realtor and her personal assistant met us there. You know, when the people who are working with you, for you, have nicer cars than you do and nicer, like, you're thinking, this person's doing well. I don't think they need me. But
Well, no, and the only piece of that I left out was how much, and well, not how much of his time, because that's pretty much, I don't think he really does anything inefficient with his time. He's probably working this shit out when he sleeps. The only thing that I left out in this is how quickly did he begin this process? Was he on the plane coming back from Florida, covered up in all the COVID goo, and saying, you know, realtor number 5, like trying to figure out what's happening in Margate.
how about this house? We should close in February. We should have our...
Hey, Melissa, I was looking at this place, and I love dogs.
I repeat,
Oh,
my husband does not have a speech impediment. Just Amy pretending to be my husband has a speech impediment.
I'm so jealous and angry.
Why? It'll be your house too.
No. Nobody's softening butter for me. No, it's not happening. Okay? No.
That
Just continue with your life.
It was so good.
You're sitting there in the Tesla, or was it the Land Rover? Which one did you take to second house shop?
we fuck you. We took my car. We took my car because I didn't want to have to stay down there and
Grape
charge his
Poupon?
car. Yes, with the Grape Poupon. We went down and we looked at
Put some raisins in the cooler. Yeah, in the in-car
raisins.
cooler.
There is no human purpose for raisins. The only purpose they serve is killing canines. And who wants to do that? No one.
I don't want to do that.
So we looked at some properties and we looked at, and then we decided we both have very different ideas. What are we looking for in a second property? We don't.
You really have different ideas?
We do.
On this one?
We do, because I don't love the beach. I don't care. I don't love the beach. And he loves the beach. So what's important to him is proximity. He has to be able to walk there to get there. He'd love to be able to see it, but nobody has that kind of money in our family, so we're going to let that go. There's no immediate toes in the sand feeling from us. So you have to be able to walk there. For me, the box I need checked is I need to be able to, remember, we're getting this place because we're selling one that's too far to drive to. We're selling one that's too far to go to on the regular and use. And if you don't use it, what the fuck is the point of having it? It's nice for the last few years to be able to lend it out to friends of ours, but we'd like to enjoy something we're investing in also. So we are letting that go next month and hoping to substitute it with something we can access. And doing that means I'm bringing the dogs. So I need a door that opens and a patch of grass where they could maybe frolic a little, pee, poop, pick up right away, because you can't frolic if your backyard is the size of a postage stamp and full of shit. And I do have 3 dogs who poop at least twice a day. So there you have it. If we're going to be down there for more than an afternoon, they need a place to be outside. So Stuart wants maybe a pool close to water, and I want green. We could not really find anything that had both.
Well, I would think that yours is the easier to adapt, in that if there is any kind of a space at all that could be concocted, or I'm not going to be super gross and say turfed, although it is possible to teach your dogs to shit on turf.
Yeah.
To be turfed or in some way.
Sod.
I know that. No, I mean literal turf, astroturf, fake grass. There's a whole school of thought, and I kind of wish we had gone down this road, but we didn't. When you're first training your dogs to use the bathroom effectively, to make sure that they only ever go on mulch or rocks, to have a patch of mulch or rocks for them always, and then that way they never kill your lawn. But it's weird for a dog to desire to go on mulch or rocks. They have to be trained to do it. But the difference is you're always going to have mulch or rocks somewhere in your landscape there. You're going to have more of that. So, I mean, you could train them to deuce it anywhere. The problem is that's more work for you. In any event, I'm sure you found places with pool. I'm sure you found places with something that could be converted into, the shit square. There's this can happen.
I found
what
the
else
perfect.
Did you find?
I found the perfect house for the D Sharps. I found.
Oh, that's all that matters. Sorry, Stuart. Yeah.
I found the perfect house. I found the perfect cul-de-sac. Dear listener, I'm sure we've told you, but I'll recap if you're a newer listener. This group of friends, and I want to find a cul-de-sac somewhere where we can each have a house in the sack, and maybe even a common area where we could all meet up for social things and for meals and for things like that. We could wait to see if COVID absolutely kills a university, and we can kind of commandeer a small university somewhere. I've been thinking about that, actually. And
I guess so.
It was overwhelming by midday. I was like, okay, I've hit a wall. Like, I don't even remember these places anymore, even though I have the papers. We've taken notes. We've done all this stuff. So we come home, and it's a time for another Zoom call, right? This is what our family has picked up. They've picked up doing birthday Zoom calls for my kids' aunts, right? So Zoom calls for a birthday. People you haven't seen in years, months, centuries, decade, whatever. I skipped a whole decades. But all of these people show up on a screen. You can't talk to any of them. It is the worst idea ever. Have you not been in a meeting or a Zoom call before? What makes you think that having a birthday Zoom call with people you desperately want to talk to is better? Like, it's just crazy. Are you having any of these?
No, I don't participate. I can't stand it. I had actually a Zoom board meeting on whatever day it was, Friday, actually, so not that long ago. It was one of the better ones, but it was still awful. And I just can't abide meeting this way. It's as bad as conference calls are, and I've done a number of them. I mean, I have had clients all over the United States. So doing shared, 30 people on the phone at the same time works because I'm giving a presentation.
Right.
And I can control.
There's an agenda.
I'll set housekeeping. Well, I'll set the housekeeping at the beginning, and I'll say, here's how this is going to go. And it's great for people to have questions at any time. But because of our format, you're going to do it answer it in the chat. And then I have somebody looking at the chat while I'm doing the presentation. And then they'll ask me these questions.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, it flows. You understand or at the end, we're just going to do one person asks a question. I'll answer that question, and then we'll go on to the next, any other. So it's a very easy, it's not like you're in a board meeting where
it's a free for all.
Everybody hasn't seen each other in 3 months and don't want to forget to say this one piece, and also commenting on all this personal stuff, and 4 people start talking at the same time, and then all 4 people shut up
and it's quiet, and you're like, so how's your kid? Your kid. I don't know who that is.
And invariably the things that we're discussing, I think this is a part of it too. It's not so with a birthday call, I don't think. Invariably, what we're discussing in all of these forced weirdy meetings is, how do we do this shit now? Because it doesn't work. Maybe it does work with birthday calls the same way. Instead of having a cake, where if you wouldn't have seen these people for their birthday anyway, if you wouldn't have driven to their house or taken them to a meal, the call is kind of fucking weird because you wouldn't have been seeing them. If you normally just had a phone call, why are you not just having a phone call? So there's that part. But here, what we're discussing is, all of our plans for the next 4 months have been scrapped, and we still have these financial goals that we have to hit, and we still have these obligations that we have to do, and we still have this constituency we have to serve, and all these, so here are all the requirements, and there's no clean path to get there. Let's all talk about it with no direction and no real idea of how we're going to solve it. So it's just it would have been an awkward in-person meeting, right? The format really gets in the way. So all these birthday calls where you got to sit there and smile and be happy the whole fucking time.
My kid said, can we drop off? It's 2 weeks in a row my kids were like, can we drop off? I'm like, absolutely. We're not here for this. We already called her and wished her a happy birthday. I spent an hour on the phone with her today. Let's go. And we're off. It's not for me. It was a courtesy inviting our family. It's her friends that she hasn't seen. And it's awkward enough when our whole family gets on and we don't talk because nobody's listening anyway to us. But when you have people you don't know, I don't belong here. So we drop off ASAP. Did you see our face?
Good for you.
We wave and we're out of there. That's it. And that was it. And then our kids are like, was this our family time? And I said, oh no.
Oh no, you dumb fuckers.
We started watching a new series together, and it's not one they'd watch on their own anyway. It's one that they save for us. And I said, if you watch it on your own, you have to watch it a second time with us, because now they're liking it and getting curious. It's a series on Netflix called Lupin.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, it's again, everybody is bullying me into watching it, but unfortunately I'm up to my tits in Grays. I have as I like to call it, I have infinity seasons of Grey's Anatomy that I have to fucking wade through. But anyway, no. So that one's on the list. The only thing I've seen about it: 1, hot guy; 2, really moody; and 3, some people are pushing back on the way that it's dubbed, which I don't think I'm going to care about.
I love it.
I really like that show. I like Spanish underpants, so I'm not going to have a problem with this. So evidently, it's a voiceover and not just a subtitled.
It's
like
voiced
that Spanish
over.
show that I watched.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's voiced over, and
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
It's French. It's voiced over, and then Mallory turned to me yesterday as we were watching like episode 3 or 4, and she said, I kind of wonder what their real voices sound like. Like she really because we're used to what we hear now, and we're over the whole dubbing thing. It only takes about 4 minutes to get absolutely into this. It's capery.
Exactly.
It's capery. It's Sting-like. It's so good.
So I'm going to adore it.
Yeah, you're going to adore it. So we're, I think, on episode 4 and really enjoying it. And it's not one of those, I can't believe you made me watch this. They're like, so are we watching another one tomorrow? So today is
right.
The
You want to do it now, or
yeah? If we do it now, do we not have to do it tomorrow? I'm like, go eat some challah and shut up before that butter is liquid. So how far have you gotten into Grey's?
I think that I have just started season 3. It is as ridiculous that I can chart the ridiculousness thus. The hospital has already blown up. Meredith was trying to decide between dating 2 doctors, and she picked one, and now everybody is sleeping with everybody in overlapping circles. It's just laughably ridiculous. But here's what I like about it, and I also identified what I really didn't like in the beginning. I had a really hard time with the actress portraying Meredith Grey, the lead actress, because every time that I watched her in the beginning seasons, I was so aware of her acting. She wasn't Meredith Grey yet. She was an actress, and I didn't get why she was cast. I didn't understand the choices she was making. It was just clumsy, and everyone around her was really pitch perfect, and she was not. And I sort of was like, why on earth is this woman the head of everything? I just didn't get it. She has evolved in the role, or the role has evolved around her, or who knows what, but she's gotten a lot better. I mean, I got to be honest with you, even specific things like the way that she kisses. In the very first episode, she has this kiss with this doctor called McDreamy, and it is the most awkward, weird, clumsy, don't want to watch it kiss, and they somehow figured it out. So a lot of things have gotten a lot better in that way, which I like. Aside from all that, the thing that's interesting about this show, and the reason I think that you were telling me it's going to hold up, doesn't matter when you start, you'll be hooked, it is because the entire show is a whole world, and it's a world outside of time. When you step, and I remember I used to work as a director of marketing in a hospital, so there's a lot of overlap for me on a different level. I wasn't a surgeon, but I had to deal with these people, and so the reality of it is nice. The human element, the development of the characters, that arc is nice. The ridiculous TV stuff you overlook because you need we never had a fucking bomb come into our hospital, okay? And I worked there for a long time. In any event, it's an entire world. You don't care what's happening outside because everything that's happening inside, like a Harry Potter, is an entire world, right? You somehow get that it's associated with the time you're in now, but it doesn't have to
Right.
be.
It can carry anywhere.
It's a beginning. You are just in the entire world of this place. In a lot of ways, like restaurant dramas are that same way. They're so fixated. It's what you're doing, and it's procedural. It's happening here, and nothing outside really matters because this is the task. So I like that a lot. And from a writing perspective, there's a lot to be learned. But it definitely has infinity seasons. There's way too much of this shit.
Stuart gave me a book to read called The House of God. He's like, this is what we go through in the hospital. This is what. And I read this book, and there's sex in every room. And I said, honey, what are you trying to tell me? Like, what? Why don't you look me right in the eye and tell me what you're trying to tell me? Because it seems like you want me to know something. And he said, no, this is just there are things in the hospital, and I'll be watching an episode of any one of those shows, which I'm not allowed to watch at night, or he'll wake up running codes on me in the middle of the night. And I like a full night's sleep. Exactly. Yeah. Clear. And all of a sudden he puts his hands on me and jolt. Like, I don't need that. So he says, yes, those things happen, but that one episode will happen in the course of a year. And the one with the bomb in the body cavity in the course of 70 years. Like that's not a thing.
Right.
He said, if you'd like to stretch that out to be the course of a year, yes, that episode does happen in a hospital. So that was interesting and I said, and sex in every call room. He's like, yeah, who the fuck has time for that? I said, all right, I feel better now.
Thank you. And who's not so fucking tired all the time?
And who has nothing to do right now, so let's go have sex. Because I know there are 3 patients right now that are staring side-eye at my husband who are waiting for test results for him to come back to the room, to come out and tell him what's going on.
Honestly, I thought one of the most relatable things, it sounds terrible to say that because it's not relatable to me, but believable, I think, is the thing. There's a character who fell asleep while she was having sex at home. And I was like, yeah, now we're talking exhaustion. Understand. I see how that could happen. It's not happened to me. But that's the thing, right? No, but I mean, it really hasn't. But that's the thing, right? And then the other thing is they spend a lot of time dealing with the penis, like a ton of time. There's all this penis stuff. They just, in the most recent episode that I watched, there was an ex-husband and a wife who were having secret sex all of a sudden, and they got stuck together, and they had to come in the middle of his dick up in her, and they had to try to separate them on the x-ray table, because that happens a lot. And then another guy comes in, and he's got a Viagra-related priapism where he's got an erection that just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And then they have the jerkiest, hottest intern there who can't get it up with the hottest intern who he likes a lot. Absolutely can't get it up.
So are you offended by the fact that there's so much penis storylines, or are you just sharing all the penis storylines?
I'm not offended by it. It's just a little bit ridiculous, but it's not like they would have, if you just relate it to any other body part. Do we have to talk about boobs and would it be boobs? I mean, it's just silliness. But the flaccid part cracked me up because it seems like it's a Hollywood go-to where the guy can't perform. That's just not, it's as unrealistic to me as the 2 people doing it and having to get separated on the x-ray table. It just seems like an unrealistic setup. I just don't know. It's not like I talk about this, but I don't know. I was just, honestly, that's why I put it on the board. I was curious about this. I don't think it's a real thing. I know it's a real thing, but I don't think it's a common thing. I don't think that everybody's like, oh, that always happens. That always happens. Yeah, it's not a problem. I've never, ever, ever heard anybody who have said they've even experienced this or know anybody who've experienced this.
But on TV, they say it happens to everyone?
They do. That's always the line.
Oh, no, it happens to everyone. And I thought, I haven't seen that.
Does it?
I haven't seen that
Thank
yet.
you. So I just feel like that's a little bit of, 2 people fucking on an x-ray table. It happens to everyone. We see this all the time. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. You don't. And you don't see fucking priapism either. So anyway, good. I actually I got so curious about this because I was like, how can this guy who is on this character, this fictitious person who is defined by his sex magically can't get it up with this woman? Now, I mean, there's lots of reasons why that happens and all the rest of it. But at the same time, it's like, really though? Somebody who is so defined by sex and has such a low moral center, he's gonna have sex with like a closet itself, the box.
See that couch over there? I've had that couch.
Yep. Thank you. So it just didn't work for me in that way. And I thought, really, are we just talking about this to fucking talk about this? I actually posted in a forum to see and nobody would answer. I said, I'm very curious about this. It's a topic that I see a lot. Does anybody have any experience with a friend, with a person? Has anybody even heard of this happening? Crickets. Nobody would even answer. So how can this be? Is it just that taboo, a thing to talk about?
No, I mean, people are definitely embarrassed when they need to talk about dysfunction of your manliness. But I don't.
This was an all-female forum. Have you ever had a partner? Have you ever heard of a friend who had a partner who had this happen? Nobody. If it's the every person, if it's the Bob Dole of problems, come on.
Bob Dole. Oh, what a Bob Dole. Yeah, I can't tell you I have any experience with it, but I'm led to understand by watching all of the TV shows. No, honey, it's perfectly normal. It happens to everyone. I feel the opposite. I feel if the wind blows in a certain direction, get it? Direction, erection. Oh, when we were in the car on our way to house number 76 yesterday, Chuck Schumer came on CNN because we were listening to CNN.
If this leads to an erection, I'm divorcing you in this podcast.
And Chuck Schumer is trying to say we will have the February 8th trial for the insurrection, and it came out as erection. And we just looked at each other, and he said to me, "You heard it live." I was like,
"Yeah, I didn't. I heard it. I noticed it after the fact."
And I was like, "I don't know that it matters that I heard it live, and I don't ever want to hear Chuck Schumer say erection again. Like that is not something I need to hear from him."
The American people deserve
an erection. Well, obviously, Karev doesn't have one when he wants to get it on with Izzy, but nonetheless.
God, she even knew the characters. She's up in it, gang.
Oh, Amy. That's
like 1,000 Infinity seasons ago.
Oh, Amy.
And you still fucking remember what happened between these two crazy people more than a decade ago. That's nuts.
It's not nuts. And Amy, I don't know the Friday Night Lights guy. What's his name?
I've never seen that show. He's cute, though.
You should watch Friday Night Lights. You'd like that one, too.
No.
You'd
Darling,
like that too.
If you don't think I have enough fucking sport drama in my life,
so
I really don't need another sports drama. Just saying.
So my husband knows that my dear friend Amy Fugazi and I have a project that we've kind of been kicking back and forth every few months. And he said, you know, there's this actor on TV who's an executive producer of his own show. I'm going to write him and I'm going to see if he'd be interested. I'm going to write him. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to write him? He said, yeah, you know, he doesn't have that many followers on Instagram, so maybe he'll actually read what I'm writing him. Right. So he writes him. And I said, babe.
Is this a stranger? He's talking to a stranger now?
Oh, yeah.
Or someone he knows. Okay.
Total stranger. I said, babe, how many followers do you have on Instagram? And he's like, I don't know. I don't use Instagram. Like 4. I said, he's not going to read it because you have 4. He's the reason. You're the reason he's not going to read it. It's nothing to do with. And you don't have to do that. You don't. I mean, it's very sweet of you to want to move me into a position of success, but I'm all right. I'm all right. Amy's working on her book first, and then we're gonna do this, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, it's definitely happening. I was working on it again yesterday. So I've been getting really frustrated and having a tough time during the workday, carving out time to do it. And I think it's funny that I was so fixated on this notion of a flaccid penis. What is it? What is it? And I'm getting ready to relate it to my writing. There's like a mental block when I sit down during the traditional workday to work on the book. But somehow on the weekend, when I feel like I'm supposed to have my weekends off, that's when I came in here and I wrote for a good portion of the day. And I'm probably going to write some today. And then on Monday, I'll probably get back to doing stuff that it's just very weird to take a workmanlike approach to doing this stuff. And that's really, that mental shift is the hardest part of making this habit stick. Having said all that, I am thinking about it more during the day. What happens when you really get into a flow is you dream about it, you start writing stuff. You can't. It's never off. It's just a question of when can you get your fingers back on the keyboard, because it's happening all the time, and that's beginning to happen. And the more that occurs, the easier it is to be writing on multiple projects at the same time. Fake Instagram shot across the bow away, right?
Yeah,
beats a flaccid penis.
That's it. Anything beats a flaccid penis. Yeah, I thought it was sweet that he wanted to do that. He's like, and there's a part for you. I'm like, there's really not, but it doesn't matter because he's not gonna write you back. But it was sweet. It was very sweet. Oh, he's a sweet boy. It was nice of him to do.
He's very nice.
There's a Macy's. What's the Macy's apocalypse?
Well, I bought some stuff in December. I'm just going to admit it. I bought makeup because I was so disheartened.
Didn't it take 6 years to get to you?
It took 6 years to get to me. And when it arrived, all the shades and everything that I bought was the most horrific, clown-like, wrong. Yeah. So it was just this total waste of everything. I've been trying to force myself to make the return. I finally did. For some reason, returns are like hard for me. So
me too.
There's a FedEx package sitting on my desk that just needs to go to FedEx, and for some reason, for 3 days, I haven't been able to carry it to a FedEx package. What is to a box, Dropbox? What's wrong with me? I went to Macy's. I got the thing. I walked in, and I swear to you, you've seen Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
It was like walking into the department store in Umbrella Academy. It was the weirdest experience. The beauty counters, better than 50% of the beauty counters, the makeup, the perfume, were empty. And by empty, I mean no product.
Oh, no.
They had, you know what they do to storefronts in downtowns that don't operate anymore, where they'll hang like a sign, "We love you," or something like this, or they'll put up a picture of a chair in a place that used to be a furniture store. So I'll make up one. I don't think it was Chanel, but the Chanel counter, for example, had 2 oversized display boxes of what clearly was not Chanel product sitting on the glass in the case, and that was it.
Oh, that's
and there
sad.
was nobody. I'm like, what has fucking happened? We're not a small place. This is a big area.
Yeah, but people aren't going into malls. They're not. They shouldn't be.
It's not even really. I mean, you technically don't even call it a mall because it's a freestanding store. It's a center. So what we have here is basically a collection of stores that almost operate like a street. Everything is connected outside with brick walkways, and it's anyway. But the Macy's building itself, the giant Home Depot sized, bigger than Home Depot sized Macy's, stands by itself. Gutted. And I couldn't find the Mac counter. I couldn't even fucking find it. And I thought, what is happening? When did this happen? And I'm scanning my brain as I'm wandering around thinking, did they go bankrupt and I forgot? Like, was this news that I missed? So finally, I just walked up to the one woman who was in there, Lancome counter, and everything was like a sunglasses hut. Like they just had weird shit in the wrong places. And she said, yeah, I can help. I said, this is not your product. I'm just trying to do a return. She goes, I can take care of that for you. And sure enough, she did, and blah, blah, just chit, nothing, no problem. It was very weird.
So now they have like 2 people who represent everything?
I don't even know how that shit works, but thank God I wasn't going there to buy more. I was just going to get rid of the stupid shit because it was so awful. Anyway, I don't know if you've been shopping.
No,
in
I have
person
not.
Outside of Donut Market. Yeah.
It's not even just shopping. Everything is different. I went for a drive and there was construction on the road, so I went a different direction to Whole Foods. And when driving there, I passed the main drag has now 2 new apartment complexes where there used to be nothing. There used to be a bowling alley for, I don't know, 70 years. The bowling alley was knocked down for 15 years. And then I drove by the other day and it's an apartment complex that's finished and people live there. So in the COVID months since March, since I've not gone that way, in less than a year, they have built it. They have inhabited it. They have inhabited it.
They inhabited it with
only
some
apricot hamantaschen. It's inhabited. Fuck. It's got inhabitants.
Inhabited.
God darn it. Inhabited it.
Inhabited. That's it. You stop after the
it.
Okay.
And now, I mean, there are dogs who live there. Like, I just can't believe it used to be this smoke-filled, whatever, bowling alley. So all of these places that weren't, so the building that has grown, all of the people that used to be in your loosely put mall are now in building and living and training their dogs in places that were flat places. I don't know, the last time I drove by there. And it's shocking to me. And it's all because all of these changes are all because we've been kind of in lockdown for so long. There are so many things we haven't done. I'm wondering what else out in the world is so different that when we see it, we're going to be like, can I bowl here? Or where are the reps for all the perfume not spraying on me? Like, so those are 2 places that are totally different than they were a year ago. What else is totally different that we're going to discover if we ever get out of this quarantine mentality? Doctor's offices. I can't take my dogs into a store. They have to come. Not a store, but the vet or grooming or whatever. They have to come get your animal. You can't go in anywhere. I'm fine with that. That's actually a real progress for me that I don't have to leave my car with the Grape on. But, I looked at houses the other day. They're like, come into our office. I'm like, I don't want to come in your office. I don't want to be indoors somewhere. Can you talk to me here in the parking lot? Like, I know it's cold, but let's chat here. Like, I don't want to be the crazy one, but the whole world is going to be a different place. And
well, I feel the attitudes are changing for a variety of reasons, and I think they have changed. I don't know that they're changing as much. I think that in the coming month, we'll see dramatic change again, more consistently, but they've already changed. There are more people who are willing to be indoors, in a space, in proximity with somebody else, and declare it safe because they've done some level of COVID protection. There are more of those people than the other people who don't feel safe indoors for any reason and want to limit all the activity. Yeah, you're definitely in the minority. In the beginning, I think you were in the majority. So it has flipped. And, who's to say how long it has taken, but it's definitely flipped.
Can
the majority
I ask you?
Of people are out shopping and doing again.
Can I ask you, even though you are told by science and scientists that January and February will be way worse than any other month we have ever had because of different strains and inability, like, even though you're being told it's worse than ever, people are saying it's okay to go out?
I don't think that the answer is yes. And I don't think that they're saying it's okay to go out. I think what is happening is that the protective measures that were put in place, people have put faith in them over the past 2 to 3 months, and they're doing that. Safe to go out is very different than having a gathering of 20 people where everyone is eating, drinking, hugging, laughing, screaming, dancing, kissing, and sharing food. That nobody thinks is safe. And the people who are doing that are reckless. That's not something that's happening. People who have been shopping in a supermarket safely for 9 months have also found ways to safely shop in Home Depot and in Macy's. And, we're going someplace, somebody's getting baptized and we're buying a dress, damn it. And I can't do it online, or I have to return it, or I'm going to try it on, or I'm going to go to Costco or wherever I'm going to go. And I'm going to wear a mask the whole time. And I'm going to try not to stay in there that long, but maybe I did. Not really with anybody else. There's a lot of that bubba in the same way that you go to the Amish market and you don't think too hard about it because that's something that you're okay doing. And you've learned that
my level of caution.
Your experience has trained you to think. It's weird because it's like buying a lottery ticket, but your experience is reinforcing that this habit is okay. Every time you walk in there,
it's a risk.
You're buying a new lottery ticket, and the odds are identical to a lottery ticket. You're not safer next week because this past week was okay, but your brain is telling you that you are. And I know that that's happening and has been happening for a long time.
So that's the supermarket theory, doing the same activity over and over. What about expanding your activities? Like you're giving yourself more opportunities, more for risk, more.
Well, this is just me opinion. This is not a medical anything. No, this is just my opinion. I believe that
children are our future.
The little bit that we know has reinforced the probability has reinforced the odd makers, right? The odds makers. So in the beginning, we knew nothing, and the choice was activities or death. And that's not the choice anymore. That was the choice.
Yeah, but our school has started
activities
wrestling again. Our school has started like wrestling and volleyball, and all their sports are back, and that kind of makes me want to vomit. Like, that's okay. Yeah. Well, no spectators, but these kids could roll on each other.
You maybe know this, you maybe don't. They have long been since the spring. They've been grading the danger level, I guess, of the risk level of sports. And, lacrosse has been a medium risk, not a high risk, football, high risk, basketball, high risk, wrestling, high risk, swimming, low risk, et cetera. So all these different grades have been in place, and they've been adjusting them, and they've been making adjustments to the regulations and how people can participate in them safely, and on and on. My point to you is, all that's been happening. We're learning a lot. We're learning new treatment protocols. We're closing in on having a vaccinated population. We're nowhere near where we need to be. things are worse now because we've used up all the resources and we're past the tipping point of more people getting sick than we can care for them. All of these things are happening. But what we also know is how to treat the disease better, how to stay out of the hospital better, how to avoid catching the disease. In the beginning, we were in our house wiping down bags as they were coming into the house.
Right.
We were leaving food on the porch for 24 hours.
Ooh.
Now it's, you can touch a doorknob. You can go to the ATM at the bank and use some hand sanitizer and go on with your day and sleep at night.
Dear listener, what is your comfort level? What kind of jelly do you like? Where does it belong? We have lots of questions for you. Are you on Team Crunchy, Team Creamy? We want to know everything. You can find
and
us.
I'm serious. I know it went over like a lead balloon, but I really am. I've gotten this massive curiosity about the flaccid penis. It has to be there. It has to be out there. And I'm not talking about a medical reason. I'm not talking about after the third time, it just doesn't happen again. I mean, okay. We've all had that experience.
So you're talking about pardon the pun, but he was in his head and he couldn't get it. Is that what you're saying?
I don't understand. I'm trying to say I don't understand that unless there's not
performance
anxiety, an actual medical reason. Yeah, it's on Seinfeld. It's on everything. It's a go-to joke. It's a go-to dramatic line. It's a go-to thing. And most of those things as a writer, you have some level of experience, some level. And this one, I think it's a fallacy, pun intended. I'm serious. I'm totally serious. I don't know. I have never heard tell of the mythic animal who, when stimulated manually, somehow decides sex is not for me because, gosh, I'm just hung up on Meredith or whatever the thing is, right? That's where I call bullshit. And there is no judgment associated with this in any way.
I just don't think it's a thing. An answer. I just have no. I got
you
nothing.
Are proving my point.
Yeah,
you are
nothing.
Proving my point. There's no porn where there's a flaccid penis in there. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's not a part of the sexual. There's porn where people are doing every conceivable thing.
What would that look like?
Well, if it's a thing that happens in sex, surely there's a fetish somewhere for this. No? I don't know.
I'm trying to picture the movie of, oh, come on, don't you want me? Like, I don't know what that would look like.
Well, it seems it would become like
I do want you. I don't know what's happening.
The reverse Bachelor, where I didn't go there at all. I thought like the dude was like a superhero and who had these powers to keep it down, and like the women's job was or the men's job, whoever was doing it in this porno. Their whole point is, I'm going to overcome you. I'm going to dominate your superpower, and you will be hard. So he's trying to resist.
Wow.
See, I can't even get my head around it.
That's
I can't
a
even
lot.
get my head around, like, why would it fucking happen? Well, I don't know.
Brilliant.
I don't know anything about this topic. I don't know why it's interesting to me. And that's a little bit troubling. I'm just trying to say I don't think it's a real thing. And I get that it's difficult. Nobody's going to raise their hand and go, hey, I shit myself in an elevator at work. Like, I get that that's not
I
the
think
first
you're
hand to
more
go
likely
up.
to get somebody who's going to confess to shitting their pants than not being able to get an erection. Dear listener, let us know. listenbrilliant@gmail.com.
I'm just saying, wait a minute. I'm just saying, even a person who has encountered someone else who can't. I'm not saying you have to raise your hand and say, I am the person. I'm saying,
you know, when they tell you the story, it's them. You know.
No, you don't have I'm saying you likely, because you would have mentioned it, don't have a single friend who's come to you and confessed, I can't believe this happened to me. My partner did not. No one. So it's either happening and no one is talking about it in the whole planet, which would be the first thing that no one ever talks about, or it's not fucking happening, writers. So how are you getting the storyline? All right, do your socials. That's all I
Listen Brilliant on Twitter and Instagram. Brilliant Observations on Facebook. You can find us on TeePublic. TeePublic, TeePublic.com. And we have t-shirts there for sale that you might really enjoy. There's a Patreon page for us where you could help sponsor us to bring you even more exciting content. I reached out today to an advertiser to see if they wanted to join our family here. We want to hear from you. Write us. Call us. Don't call us. We don't even have a phone. But contact us in one of those exciting ways. Find me on Peloton, BrillObsSquad. If you see me there, pretend that you don't, because it's not a community for me. I told you it's for therapy. We'd love to hear from you. Grape jelly forever on crunchy peanut butter sandwiches.
Holla!
We love you guys. Have a great one. Take care. Bye.